Hi, Goober. Yes, it's you, buddy. Yeah. Alright. Hello, everyone. I'm Anvikram. And thank you. First off, thank you for 500 subscribers. Wow. It's been a journey. I know a lot of stuff's been going on for like the first half of this year, but fortunately, summer is here, so I have all the spare time in the world, and at the same time, it seems Nerf is experiencing a resurgence. All the big national events that we had pre-pandemic are starting to come back, End War being the most notable out of all of them. So, really looking forward to the future on this one. There's a lot of stuff I want to do. Anyway, for this sort of special, this is what I'm kicking things off with. I have some other ideas, although, yeah, I have some other ideas. Not sure if they'll pan out or not. But anyway, today I figured that, finally, I've had this idea for forever, but now that I've got everything all sorted over here, I'm going to do a quick little recording space / room tour thing, because this area here is basically the extension of my central nervous system. This is where all my technological stuff goes, and I want to share it with you, show you how things are done. Alright, where to kick things off? Alright, so first things first, let's go through the whole process, the stuff that gets recorded, the stuff that my visual input, and all that sort of stuff, kind of in order, in sequence. So in recording gaming content, everything starts from my Nintendo Switch here, which, it boggles my mind that it's been 5 years since the Switch has come out. And I got mine the day it came out. I was lucky enough to pre-order it. But everything starts from this point. It's wired in through Ethernet, all that sort of thing. The weird thing you're seeing on the back of it. So, this was back during the summer of 2017, when there was thermal concerns arose regarding the Switch's design. So, I ended up pulling off the little flap door on the back of the dock that hides the cables and manages the cables and that sort of thing. And my dad sort of engineered this cardboard box thing that has a 120mm cooling fan on the back of it that's soldered into a low voltage DC power supply that pumps fresh air into my Switch when I'm binging stuff because I'm paranoid. So, yeah, that's done. This is my Splatoon machine. It is very important that this system stays intact because Nintendo doesn't allow cloud saves for Splatoon because... oh, Nintendo. Alright, anyway, from there it runs into an HDMI splitter wedged down back here, mostly obstructed from view except for the quick access thing, so I can run HDMI from here over to that monitor over there if I'm having friends over or something like that. So that is just a simple run-of-the-mill HDMI splitter. I think the Amazon listing for it has disappeared a very long time ago because for whatever reason, those sort of devices, it's like they're all the exact same design, but there's just different listings for them every 3 months and they keep disappearing and reappearing. I don't get it. Well, I think some of it has to do with HDCP, but anyway. Video and audio from the Switch enters the splitter, then gets sent out to this monitor here and my capture card. This monitor, I have it split up that way so I can just play on my Switch without having to turn on my tower and not having to use the pass-through on the capture card, which is kind of janky. And it also has an optical audio output. More on that in a moment. So, capture card is an Elgato HD6DS. This is completely off the cuff, and I really should have rehearsed this or something like that. Oh joy. But yeah, Elgato HD6DS, and I record everything through OBS. Now, as for audio for gaming content, we have this stuff over here. So, As you can see, my the location of my setup is kind of interesting. It's in this open office space that used to be a bedroom that the previous owners knocked out a wall here to make this a giant living room space. And if you can't tell by the way this video sounds, this place is a stinking echo chamber. And it's like this for the entirety of the house. Every room in the house has some form of hard flooring. There's like a couple of exceptions in like the closets, but otherwise, it's just hard flooring. So the majority of my microphone-related decisions revolves around this. This looks a bit complicated for a channel of my size, and I know it, but I prioritize... audio is a high priority for me. So, here we have a Sennheiser E835 dynamic stage microphone, which is... yeah, it's a cardioid dynamic microphone. It's specifically made for on-stage use, concerts, live events, that sort of thing. And I specifically wanted this because it doesn't pick up on room acoustics, like hardly at all. It's interesting doing editing for this because as I'm like shifting around a little bit while I'm playing or doing something like that, it means I constantly have to adjust audio levels in post. But for what I use it for, it works amazing. And I'm probably looking up too high. Let's look a little bit farther downwards, yeah? Okay. Anyway. So, since this is just a professional stage mic, it does not have any USB options or anything like that. It uses the standard connector for microphones, which is XLR, which then runs into this box over here. Please stop that. Thank you. Okay, this is a Behringer UMC 404 HD XLR interface. I know, absolutely fantastic. They're like... Behringer is an interesting company. But yeah, this just reminds me of monitor nomenclature. Oh, sorry, Behringer Euphoria UMC 404 HD. Oh joy. Alright, anyway. This is completely and totally overkill for my general purposes. I basically need something that can get high quality, full quality, just the signal from the microphone into my computer in some capacity, and I intentionally went overkill with this so I have expandability. So I can plug in 4 XLR microphones. If I ever want to do any weird tinkering or anything like that, it has mountains of just stuff that I've literally never used on it. It has MIDI for whatever reason. That's interesting and kind of cool. And that sort of thing. Though I don't really have anything to play with in that capacity for that. And it just uses a standard USB connection with some drivers because this can do so many things. This is basically an external sound card. I can listen to my PC through this. And that runs from USB into my PC. Again, into OBS. Alright, so that's all the recording stuff. Now we can get into the software side of things. Again, I use OBS for recording for everything. Unscripted. Unscripted. It has its benefits and it has its downsides. But once I get everything recorded, most likely at 60 frames per second in some beefy bit rate using NVENC. There it is. I've had an interesting morning this morning. It ends up going into DaVinci Resolve Studio, which is... it's a very interesting video editor. I like it because of how anti-Adobe it is. It's like, it's trying to compete with Adobe on his... that's a thumbnail, not... that's the actual video file. File... project manager... I want you. Okay, yeah, I'm a crazy person. I create thumbnails within my video editing software. Anyway, this is like the most... it is very loaded with features, and it's like the most anti-Adobe professional video editor I could ask for. It's literally a one-time purchase. There's a free version that has most of the software's features baked in. And lifetime updates and that sort of thing. And on my kind of computer, it runs absolutely fantastically. On top of that, I have this little thing right here. This was actually part of a bundle. Like, this controller here costs the same as a software license, but at the time, the Blackmagic Design was running a promotion to where if you bought the controller, you got the software with it. And I don't know what 70% of these buttons do, but it has a little knob that allows me to control things. So that's cool. Yeah. Now I should talk about, last thing is talking about hardware, because this was the main obstacle for me doing this for any previous subscriber milestone, because by the point when I had the idea, I was like, okay, I know I'm going to upgrade my CPU at some point. Well, I've gotten through my associate's degree program. This is my... Oh, okay. I'm not thinking. Yeah. Inside here is my associate's degree diploma. It's not a diploma, it's a certificate. I can't remember. Again, interesting morning. New Deadmau5 single. That's been fun. Alright. But yeah, now that I've gone through that, my thing I did for graduation was that my parents chipped in on getting a new CPU for my main computer. But with getting a new CPU, that meant new motherboard, new RAM, new cooler. I upgraded literally everything except for my power supply, my storage, and my graphics card, because I didn't need to, at least not right now. So, currently, I have an Intel Core i7-12700, which just looking at all these drafts, it makes me happy. Because, yeah, before this I had a Core i5-8400, which is in that tower over there. And for graphics, I have an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 3070, which by some miracle, that was fun because yeah, I had school that day. And my dad's work schedule lined up just so to where that my mother was waking up very early in the morning. So she made the 45-minute drive to Micro Center to wait out in the early dark 30 morning when the 3070 launched. And somehow, by some miracle, managed to store one. And because it was the launch of it, it was at MSRP. And on top of that, it worked in that. It's a dual fan model, which dual fan 3070s are very few and far between. And it fit in that crammed, just very interesting Alienware case. Interesting. I'll leave it at that. But yeah, I migrated that over here, and of course, monster CPU with a monster cooler. Oh, I'm so happy about this. And I guess other random peripheral things, because currently the storage situation on my tower is kind of interesting. I've got 1.5 terabytes of space on the system itself. And this monolith down here. Did I show off the case itself? Well, I'm not gonna peer over here too much because tempered glass. It's a Lianli 011 Air Mini case. Because it was literally like the only case that ticked all the boxes for, okay, this is something that will meet my needs. That also fit under here with just needing this board down here without having to cut a hole in the back of my desk. Don't know if you can see that, but there's just this wooden board back there that's would make like a more conventional case like a LANCool 2 mesh just not practical, because I wouldn't be able to access half of my rear I/O and the exhaust fan would have been blocked. So yeah, awesome case, by the way. It was fun build, all that sort of thing. Now back to storage. Storage situation is interesting because I only have 1.5 terabytes of space on here. I have a 500 gigabyte NVMe boot drive and then 1 terabyte 3.5-inch drive. Like, the one thing moving forward is that I want more RAM for this once I sell that, and more storage once I sell that. So That's going to be remedied soon. For the time being, though, I have this 2.5-inch external drive. It's like a 5 terabyte just Seagate drive I got from Costco at one point because I was running out of space on here. So as I'm recording more new stuff, old stuff gets archived onto that drive. And for other peripherals and stuff, this here is one of Samsung's fancier monitors from like 5 years ago. A Samsung CFG70, a 24-inch model. Right now, these days it isn't anything super incredible. It's 1080p, 144 hertz, VA panel. Although it gets surprisingly bright. I think it's rated for 350 nit peak brightness. And it has quantum dot backlighting in color. So, very vivid looking panel. Very contrasty for what it is. And this over here is just the monitor that we had for the family computer over there before my dad switched out the monitor for that. And I'm like, I don't care if this looks bad, which it doesn't look too great. It looks better than other monitors I've used, but still it's not. It's some random Samsung monitor from 2008, and it serves its purpose as being a secondary monitor so I can use OBS and all that sort of stuff while I have a real-time video feed of whatever I'm playing on my main monitor here. Other stuff, there's that controller, Switch Pro controller. I have 2 of them. One is a backup for when one of them starts acting dopey on the analog stick drift front. And then down here I've got a massive mouse pad from the brief stint where I was like, I'm going to try out Overwatch because just out of curiosity, I've played Splatoon for so long, I want to try a PC shooter game for once. And from like a just playing something at that high of a frame rate that's that responsive was cool, but Activision, thank you. Anyway, I don't use this for gaming. If I'm doing anything to where my palms are actually going to be getting sweaty, mom spaghetti, I have a Logitech G910 to just beat up some mechanical keyboard I've had for a few years. Nothing. It's very gamery. It's not fancy in any way, and basically any keyboard enthusiast would poo-poo on it. But for now, for like just casual web browsing, typing, that sort of thing, the coiled cable is stuck on the edge of the desk so I can't pull it out quite all the way. Here we go. I have my vintage 1988 IBM Model M mechanical keyboard that I basically rescued from being rendered into e-waste by my college. That is just absolutely fantastic. I've learned not to spam the shift key when I'm testing the key stabilizers on this because it likes to act fun. But yeah. Just the key stabilization on it, the spacebar is interesting, but the sound, I mean, just wow. The sound, the feel, everything. This keyboard weighs 5 pounds. It is a tank, and I love it. If you see one of these at a yard sale, pick it up. It is totally worth your time. Yeah. Oh, right! How could I have possibly overlooked this? One last thing. I did not mention how I mentioned how I record audio. I didn't mention how I listen to audio. So that's kind of interesting and complicated. That's another rabbit hole beyond technology. My YouTube channel is like a culmination of all of my preferred interests. It's interesting. But yeah, over here is the audio output section. So here I have a JDS Labs OL DAC and a JDS Labs Atom headphone amplifier. This is specifically for my headphones, of which I have multiple pairs. These over here are my daily drivers. Sennheiser HD58Xs from Massdrop that I've had forever, and I can just use without too many concerns day to day because I keep my super special headphones for if I want to do any ultra critical listening in here. These are my Sennheiser HD600s. HD600s, absolutely incredible headphone, although those cans and those cans are specifically designed to like run off of old stereo equipment. So that's why I have a headphone amplifier, so I can actually achieve the full dynamics of what these headphones are capable of, because a simple mobile device or PC audio output isn't going to cut it. And specifically for the DAC itself, it has a USB input, which is plugged into my computer, and then it has an optical input, which, heading back to that HDMI splitter, it runs from the HDMI splitter into the DAC. So when I'm playing Switch games, I can just flick this switch right here to switch sources. Audio feed still gets passed up to the capture card, and I can listen to the game and do all that sort of stuff in glorious high fidelity. Yeah. And I have those bookshelf speakers there for like video meetings and that sort of stuff for school. So that's pretty much everything. There's organized storage for all the other stuff that I use or sort of use that I want to keep in the immediate vicinity of my desk. And there's my just row of boxes up here. Yeah, where I keep all my special stuff because I like to flex. So the box for the 3070, the box for my CPU, this 3D printed awesome thing here because I 3D modeled my own logo. And then my CD copy of all of the Breath of the Wild soundtrack. That was a trip. And now it's like, oh, there's just interesting websites for that now. You don't have to go onto Japanese websites to get game soundtracks in full quality, particularly Nintendo ones. Yeah, that's basically everything, and that's just some random Martha Amiibo I have over there. I should mention my... Right, yeah, Figma figures. That's something that I should probably talk about at some point. Just as a random, this is my experience. I've been wanting to do that for a while. Alright, yeah, that is everything. Yeah, that is everything. Again, thank you so much for 500 subscribers. It means so much to me. I can't wait to see what the future holds, especially for Nerf content. And Splatoon, who am I kidding? Splatoon 3! Oh yeah. Maybe, hopefully, fingers crossed, Nintendo will fix all the back-end problems that Splatoon 2 has and Splatoon 1 has. Anyway, yeah. If you enjoyed this video and would like to see more, leave a like, comment, get subscribed. Thank you all for watching. I am Anvicom, and I will see you next time.